Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Ujjwal Whatifs and I am back with a part 2 of what if Ash started his Pokemon journey with Mew. I the Ujjwal Whatifs, previously known as Storymaster, am the author of this series. And remember to like this video and make sure to share it with your friends. Now let's begin. Previously in What If Ash started his Pokemon journey with Mew, Ash at his birth got a gift from Arceus, a Mew's egg and essence of Arceus power. He trained for 5 years in both Psychic and Aura and mastered it. On his 10th birthday he got some surprising gifts from his parents and relatives, and later getting his Pokemon license and a rebellious Pikachu from Professor Oak. And then Ash began his Pokemon journey. Now let's see what will happen with Ash in this videos. Present time. On Route 1. It has been 3 hours since he left his home. Ash and his Pokemon were sitting in the shade of a big tree, taking a break for lunch. Ash was munching on some simple egg sandwiches, while Mew and Pikachu ate happily from a small pile of berries. After chatting with Pikachu for a bit, Ash realized Pikachu doesn't like Pokeballs at all, just like his Mew, and honestly, he didn't mind. If they wanted to stay out of their Pokeballs, that was fine by him. Once they finished eating, Ash trained with his Pokemon for a few hours. When they were done, they packed up and continued their journey along Route 1. Sometime later, as Ash was walking with Pikachu and Mew at his side, he suddenly heard a girl scream for help. Without hesitation, he ran toward the sound, and saw a orange-haired girl with a side ponytail being attacked by an unusually large Gyarados, and the Gyarados was already firing a hyper beam. The girl squeezed her eyes shut, thinking, "So this is how I die." Ash's eyes widened. He didn't think, he just acted. Mew, use Protect to shield her. Pikachu, hit that Gyarados with thunder. Yes, Daddy, Mew chimed. Pikachu cried sharply. Mew acted instantly and moved between the girl and the Gyarados, formed a transparent barrier. The powerful attack slammed into the shield and bounced away. At the same moment, Pikachu leapt into the air, electricity crackling around his body. A massive bolt of lightning crashed down on Gyarados once, then again in quick succession. The super effective hits were too much. With a roar, Gyarados collapsed and fainted. Ash quickly grabbed an empty Cherish ball from his belt and threw it at the fallen Gyarados and instantly catching it. Hearing the sound of the hyper beam being deflected and the crash of Gyarados hitting the ground, the girl slowly opened her eyes, and saw a faint, glowing shield fading away in front of her, and standing in front of her was a shiny Mew. Her eyes went wide. She whispered, almost disbelieving, "Mew. But how?" She tried to piece together what had just happened, but then she heard a boy's voice calling out to her. She turned toward the sound and saw a black-haired boy in a cap walking over. "Hey, are you all right?" Ash asked. "Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you for protecting me," the orange-haired girl said. "No problem, it wasn't a big deal," Ash replied with a faint smile. "I'm Ash Ketchum from Pallet Town," he added, holding out his hand. Misty Waterflower from Cerulean City," she responded, taking his hand for a shake. As she let go, her eyes followed the Mew that had saved her. The mythical Pokemon happily floated over to Ash and settled on his other shoulder like it was the most natural thing in the world. Her jaw dropped. "Is this shiny Mew really yours?" Mew giggled, looking at Misty. "Daddy, she looks funny, he." Ash smiled at his little princess, then turned back to Misty. "Yeah, she's mine." Misty's eyes widened again. "But how?" she blurted out loudly. Ash repeated the story he'd made up with his parents. He told her that he'd found Mew's egg 7 years ago, when he was only 3, somewhere near a forest. He couldn't remember exactly where. About 4 years ago, the egg hatched, and Mew had been with him ever since. In reality, Ash's parents had never hidden the truth from him. They told him everything about Arceus gifts, but also warned him not to reveal his abilities carelessly. There are people who could do anything for those gifts, and could hurt anyone around him. That was why Ash used this cover story whenever someone asked about Mew. After listening, Misty crossed her arms and grumbled, You're one lucky bastard, Ash. Most people won't even get to see a mythical Pokemon in their entire lives, and you actually have one. They continued to talk as they walked together. Ash mentioned that his next destination was Viridian City. When Misty heard that, she asked if she could come along with him. Ash glanced at her for a second, outwardly calm. He quietly reached out with his psychic powers, reading her surface thoughts to check for any bad intentions. When he sensed nothing bad, he nodded. Sure, you can come with me, he answered. Misty smiled brightly. Thanks for letting me join you, and with that, the two of them walked side by side to the road of life. Cough, cough, the road to Viridian City. Line break. Just as Ash and Misty were about to reach the Viridian City gates, they noticed a large golden bird Pokemon flying high in the sky. Misty stopped in her tracks. What is that? Ash stared, stunned. He knew exactly what he was looking at. It was a golden Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh looked towards Ash, and the moment she saw him, she descended, landing on the path in front of Ash and Misty. Misty froze, her eyes widening in disbelief as Ho-Oh's massive. Her heart pounded. She'd heard the legends, but seeing one up close, it was like the world had tilted. Ash. That's Ho-Oh, she whispered, voice trembling with awe and fear. Ash nodded, then his eyes softened, and he looked at Ho-Oh and smiled, then spoke through telepathy. Good evening, old friend. Long time no see. Ho-Oh's gaze also gentle, and she answered in his mind, her voice calm and warm. Good evening to you as well, Ash, and yes, it has been a long time. Flashback. Ash been wandering through a forest near his home when he stumbled across a large cave. From inside, he sensed a powerful aura. Being the curious child he was, he headed inside. Inside the cave, he found several different kinds of Pokemon resting and moving about, but what immediately drew his attention was a large, golden bird, about the size of a Pidgeot, lying on the ground with one wing badly damaged, a shiny Ho-Oh. Ash gasped and rushed over to her side and, using his healing powers to heal her as much as he could. After a while, the glow of his healing faded. He slumped back a little, tired but satisfied. He waited patiently for the bird to wake up. Eventually, the Ho-Oh stirred and slowly opened her eyes. She blinked at Ash, then telepathically spoke, thanking him for healing her. Hearing her voice in his mind, Ash found out that she's a female. You don't have to thank me, he replied with a bright smile. It's my duty, as a future Pokemon master, to help Pokemon in trouble. Ho-Oh was surprised by his innocent thoughts and his simple, honest desire to help others, but what shocked her even more was his tremendous amount of aura and psychic power. After composing herself, she talked with Ash for a while. As time passed, they became friends. She eventually decided to stay in that cave for a few more days before returning to her home, just so she could play with Ash a bit longer. In those few days, the young Ash and the golden Ho-Oh became best friends. As every good thing must end, Ho-Oh's time to go has come. She gave Ash a sad look, said goodbye, and flew home, but before disappearing into the clouds, she called back softly. When you are stronger, I will give you a chance to catch me and make me your Pokemon. Ash's eyes shone green with excitement. He nodded seriously, and they said their final farewell. Flashback end. So, you're here because of our promise? Ash asked, his voice echoing in Ho-Oh's mind. Yes, she replied telepathically, but I won't make it easy for you. Ash smirked and nodded, then turned to Mew. Get ready. Mew materialized, dropping into a fierce battle stance. He glanced at Misty, stepped to the sidelines. This is between me and Ho-Oh. Misty's eyes widened at the legendary's name. You're sure, Ash? That's a legendary Pokemon? I know, he said firmly, meeting her gaze. It's an old promise. Don't worry, just move. Misty sighed. You owe me an explanation later. With Pikachu at her heels, she retreated from the battlefield. Battle begin. Go first. Ho-Oh, Ash said confidently. Ho-Oh unleashed Incinerate, a scorching blaze roaring toward Mew. Protect. Ash countered. Mew's shimmering barrier deflected the flames harmlessly. Dragon Claw. Now. Green claws erupted from Mew's paws, slashing Ho-Oh mid-recovery. The legendary reeled, scales scorched. Ho-Oh retaliated with sacred fire, a radiant inferno spiraling in. Teleport. Ash yelled. Mew vanished at the last second, the holy blaze grazing her tail. That was close. Ash exhaled. Poison jab. Mew's tail stabbed Ho-Oh from back, venom coursing through her body, and she flinched in agony. Ho-Oh used recover, and then hyperbeam. Mew again, used teleport and dodged it. Surf. Then electro ball. Ash shouted. A massive wave crashed over the drenched legendary, exploiting her weakness. The electrified orb followed, arcing through the water, zapping Ho-Oh into unconsciousness. Ash hurled the master ball. It dinged once, twice and thrice, then stars burst out, showing a successful capture. Grinning, he scooped it up, flashing a victory pose. We got Ho-Oh. I got a new friend. Mew cheered, mimicking Ash's pose. They locked eyes and burst into laughter. That was fun, Daddy. Let's do it again. Mew giggled, paws over her mouth. Sure, Princess, Ash chuckled, ruffling her head. Ash took out his Pokédex and scanned Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh, a fiery bird Pokémon, fire and flying type. It is said that those who see Ho-Oh are promised eternal happiness. Legends claim this Pokémon flies the world's skies continuously on its magnificent 7-colored wings. This Pokémon is female and has the ability Pressure. By the looks of his different coloration, it is believed to be a shiny Pokémon. Attack known by this Pokémon: Brave Bird, Incinerate, Sacred Fire, Hyper Beam, Ancient Power, Gust, Recover, Sky Attack. Misty stood frozen in shock, but as she watched Ash and Mew playfully chasing each other through the grass, a soft smile tugged at her lips. They actually look like father and daughter having fun, she whispered to herself. She stepped forward. You actually caught him, Misty said, nodding toward Ho-Oh with wide eyes. Yeah, Ash replied, grinning ear to ear. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I never would have believed it. Someone could actually caught a legendary Pokémon, Misty said, her voice laced with amusement. All right. Now spill. Tell me the story behind this shiny Ho-Oh, she pressed, crossing her arms. Ash recounted it all. How he'd first met Ho-Oh as a wide-eyed kid, their instant connection, and the bond that led to her joining him. Misty's jaw dropped at the thought of a 5-year-old befriending such a majestic creature. She sighed, shaking her head. You really are something, Ash, really something. Yeah, I know, he mumbled sheepishly, rubbing the back of his neck. With that, Ash and Misty pressed on toward Viridian City. A while later, as our heroes approached the gleaming gates of Viridian City, a sharp voice cut through the air. Stop right there. They turned to see Officer Jenny striding toward them, her expression stern. Mew, invisible to most eyes, stayed hidden from view. Who are you, and what's with that Pikachu? Jenny demanded, jabbing a finger at Ash. He's my Pikachu, Ash shot back, eyes narrowing, but he hates Pokeballs. Oh, okay, Jenny said, relaxing slightly. Sorry about that. Lately, we've had a rash of Pokemon thieves. Had to be cautious. Can I see your IDs? Ash flashed his Pokédex while Misty showed her gym leader badge. Jenny scanned them quickly, nodded, and waved them through. Be careful out there. Thieves are everywhere. Stay safe, she called after them. Will do, Ash replied over his shoulder. So, what's the plan now, Ash? Misty asked, falling into step beside him. First, Pokemon Center to heal Gyarados and let others rest. Then, register for the league, and after that, challenge the Viridian Gym, Ash said. He could have healed them himself, but his team deserved proper recovery after such a grueling day, and he could also register for league there anyway. Sounds good, Misty agreed. And you, what's your move? Ash asked. Same. Getting my Pokemon checked out, she replied. Ash nodded, and they set off toward the Pokemon Center, but moments later, they both froze, exchanging glances. Do you know where the Pokemon Center is? They blurted in unison. They sighed in unison too, shaking their heads. Then Ash snapped his fingers. Wait, Mom gave me a Pokénav. He pulled it out, punched in the search, and soon enough, they were on track. Not long after, our heroes arrived at the Pokemon Center unscathed, the familiar red roof glowing warmly under the evening sky. They hurried inside and straight to our beloved Nurse Joy's desk. Hello, Nurse Joy. Can you check my Pokemon? Ash asked, holding out Gyarados' Cherish Ball. Mine too, please, Misty added while also holding her Pokeballs. Oh my, of course. Joy beamed, gesturing to the trolley Chansey was pushing forward. Just place them here. Ash set down the Cherish Ball, Pikachu, and his 2 Pokemon eggs. Check the eggs too, if you can please. Chansey whisked everything away for examination. Hey, Ash, I didn't know you had 2 Pokemon eggs, Misty said, eyebrows raised. How would you? I never told you, Ash teased, smirking. Very funny, ha ha ha, Misty deadpanned, shooting him a glare. Jokes aside, she leaned in. Seriously, how do you get Pokemon eggs? Close relatives gifted them, Ash said simply. Oh, Misty hummed thoughtfully, then headed outside in search of food. Ash claimed a quiet corner table, pulled out his Pokénav and dialed home. He chatted with his mom, Delia, filling her in on the wild first day. The unique Gyarados, the golden Ho-Oh, and his new travel companion, Misty. Delia blinked in shock but recalled Arceus's words, a proud smile spreading across her face. You're already on your way to fulfilling your destiny, my son, she thought. Then she beamed at the news of Ash making a friend. After a warm catch-up, Ash asked her to say hi to Dad, then they said goodbye. Suddenly, our hero heard the sound of a video call ringing from the center's computer. When Ash glanced around and saw no one nearby, he quickly answered the call, just in case it was an emergency, but the screen lit up with the back of Professor Oak's head. Hey, Professor, it's me, Ash, Ash said. Oh, Ash, did you already make it to Viridian City? Good, very good, that's what I expected from you, answered Professor, with recognition dawning on his face. Thank you, Professor, but I think you opened the wrong camera, I can only see your back. Professor Oak looked embarrassed and quickly switched the camera to show his face. The professor had the same reaction as Delia. Astonishment, amusement, then a loud laugh. Only you can do that kind of stuff, my boy, only you can. To think you actually caught a legendary Pokemon on the first day of your journey, he said, amusement lacing his voice. Ash joined in with Professor and laughed, looking sheepish. After that, Professor asked if he could study Ho-Oh later on. Ash agreed and said he would transport Ho-Oh after his gym battle with Viridian Gym. Professor already started imagining how many new discoveries he would uncover from Ho-Oh, smiling in excitement. After some talk with Ash, the professor suddenly remembered something and told him. Oh my, because of the legendary Pokemon, I almost forgot why I called, said Professor. What was it, Professor? Questioned Ash. Well, originally I was going to tell Joy to inform you to call me back later after you reached the Pokemon Center, but since you're already here, I'll tell you, answered Professor. Well, because of your position as a Grandmaster of Aura Guardians, the League has given you special permission to carry 12 Pokemon. Ash was surprised but then realized it made sense, smiled, thanked Professor for his efforts, then asked if there was anything else. Professor replied in the negative, then they bid farewell, and hung up the call. After hanging up, Ash was happy because from now on he could carry 6 more Pokemon, and when he caught them in the future, he would train more of them together with him. When Ash was thinking about this, he heard his and Misty's names called from the counter, signaling them to collect their Pokeballs. Just then, Ash saw Misty walking back inside. Misty spotted Ash too, and they went together to the main counter. collecting the Pokeballs of their Pokemon, or in Ash's case, his Cherish Ball, Pokemon, and Pokemon eggs, then stowing them in their respective places. After Ash put his Pokemon eggs in his bag, he asked Nurse Joy to register him for the Indigo League. Nurse Joy did just that and registered Ash for the league. Congratulations, Ash Ketchum. You are now eligible for taking the gym challenges for the Indigo League, announced Nurse Joy. Afterward, Ash asked Nurse Joy for a training area where he could train with his Pokemon. Nurse Joy gave him directions and bid farewell. Ash thanked Nurse Joy and headed out to train, but before walking away, he informed Misty of his plan to train with his Pokemon for 2 weeks, then challenge Viridian Gym. Misty nodded and asked Nurse Joy for a room. After that, Ash left. He rarely showed his face to anyone for the 2 straight weeks. He trained with his new Pokemons, Pikachu, Gyarados, and Ho-Oh, instructing Mew to teach Pikachu some of her moves like Iron Tail and Protect, while he worked with his other 2 Pokemon on the side. But before starting, he scanned his Gyarados to familiarize himself with his moveset. Gyarados, water-flying type Pokemon, the evolved form of Magikarp. Gyarados is a serpentine dragon-like Pokemon with an extremely aggressive nature. The Hyper Beam it shoots from its mouth totally incinerates all targets. Once it begins to rampage, it burns everything down, even in a harsh storm. Once Gyarados appears, its rage never settles until it has razed the fields and mountains around it. This Gyarados is male and has the ability Intimidate, attacks known by this Pokemon: Hyper Beam, Water Gun, Crunch, Bite, Dragon Breath, Dragon Tail, Outrage. This Gyarados also has the egg move Dragon Pulse, but it is locked. Wow, Gyarados, you are already this strong, said Ash in surprise. Of course I am. I have trained all my life, proudly answered Gyarados. Ash looked at Gyarados with amusement, then suddenly remembered and asked, "Oh yeah, I wanted to ask, why did you attack Misty?" asked Ash. Well, she was annoying, complaining about her sisters all day long on the riverside. At last I couldn't take it, and attacked her to make her stop. And yeah, I wasn't the only one. There was a Tentacruel and a Cloyster, but they ran after seeing me attack, answered Gyarados. Ash's sweat dropped. Is she really that annoying? Asked Ash. Gyarados nodded. Ash sighed and started training Ho-Oh and Gyarados. 1 week and 6 days later we see our hero Ash finishing his training with his Pokemon. After Ash finished, a Pokemon came running to him and said, "Papa, look, Big Sis Mew taught this to me," said a blue canine Pokemon, showing off its tail, which shimmered silver. Wow. Riolu, you learned Iron Tail already. You really learn fast, huh buddy? Praised Ash, while patting Riolu's head. As we looked at that Riolu, we could notice something different about him. He didn't look like a normal one but more like his mega-evolved form, only smaller, and his aura was much more potent than any others. Flashback. 6 days ago when Ash was training to control his calming-type aura that could soothe rampaging Pokemon, he accidentally mixed his psychic power with his aura. Suddenly his bag started glowing. He looked inside and saw his blue egg glowing. He took the incubator carrying the glowing egg out from the bag, then took the egg from the incubator and waited with his Pokemon by his side for it to hatch. When the egg hatched, a blue canine Pokemon emerged. Ash looked at the Pokemon in confusion because it was indeed a Riolu, but different. Yellow hair on his chest, red paws and feet. His aura more potent than his evolved form, and Ash could feel psychic power emanating from him. So Ash took out his Pokédex and scanned him. Riolu, the emanation Pokemon, a fighting type. Riolu can understand how people and Pokemon feel by using his aura. It has a flexible body with enough power to cross 3 mountains and 2 canyons in one night, because of some unknown mutation. This Riolu also possesses psychic powers. This Riolu is male and has the ability Inner Focus. He also has the hidden ability Prankster. Attacks known by this Pokemon: Quick Attack, Force Palm, Metal Claw, Confusion, Psy Strike. This Pokemon also has the egg move Flash Cannon. This move is locked. He really has psychic powers, said Ash in astonishment. But Ash stopped thinking when he saw the unique Riolu opening his eyes. Riolu saw Ash and instantly formed a connection and called him Papa. Ash nodded and ruffled his head. Then he introduced him other Pokémons and caught him in a Cherish Ball, then went to Pokémon Center for getting him a full health checkup and let his other Pokémons get some rest. Present time. After a full day of training, Ash went to the Pokémon Center where he saw Misty waiting for him. He went with her to Nurse Joy and left his Pokémon to her and went with Misty to eat. Later, when Ash went to collect his Pokémon, he got the news that Giovanni, the gym leader of Viridian Gym, is unavailable right now. But he will be back in a month or so. Hearing that, Ash was disappointed, but still collected his Pokémon and went to Misty. He told her that he will be leaving for Pewter City since Viridian Gym is unavailable right now. Misty nodded and walked with Ash to the exit. In the last 2 weeks, Misty had decided to travel with Ash because she doesn't want the same thing happen to her like last time with Gyarados, and she feels safe around him. So she asked him about this and he agreed, well, because why not? Ash and Misty was about to leave the Pokémon Center when suddenly the roof of the Pokémon Center exploded. 3 figures landed and started monologuing. Prepare for trouble, and make it double. To protect the world from devastation. To unite all peoples within our nation. To denounce the evils of truth and love. To extend our reach to the stars above. Jesse. James. Team Rockets blast off at the speed of light. Surrender now or prepared to fight. Meowth. Yeah, that's right. That's all for today. Hope you guys like it. If you do, then please like and share this video. Also subscribe this channel to get more amazing what ifs in the future. Alright, then see you guys on my next video. Goodbye, farewell and sayonara.